Hey guys, welcome back to Mavericks Arcade. My name is Chuck, and today we're going to be talking about the Daphne Singe Emulator, which is used for video disc games and a lot of my old classic favorite gun games. First, I want to take care of two previous business issues. Andy over at Ultimark had let me know that there was an issue, and I did comment on this previously, and I added an update to the original post about the U360s, and there was some confusion in there because I did not have my Adderall, and a lot of times when I do that, I'll run through a statement, and in my head it sounds correct, but then I'll put it out there, and it sounds correct until somebody asks me about it, and I'm like, oh, that's not what I meant. So there was an issue where I was saying that Andy said it was not recommended, his servo sticks, and that is completely wrong. His servo sticks are awesome. That's what I use on my machine. And the issue is that my mod that I had listed about taking the servo stick restrictor plate motor and the restrictor plates and putting those on the U360 is a cool mod. It does work, but that mod is not supported. The mod of taking the servo stick motor and restrictor plate and sticking it on a U360 is not supported. Both the U360 joystick and the servo stick joystick are amazing joysticks that I personally love. I prefer the U360 for use with analog functionality and analog games. So especially if you don't have a gamepad attached to your system as I do, then those analog sticks are very vital for games that require analog inputs. If you have analog taken care of and you want more of the mechanical feel of the joystick, then the servo stick works perfectly for that. Plus, with the servo stick, you can buy the LED ball, optional LED joystick, which is of course what I did, and I love them. So anyway, that was one issue. So to make sure I don't have that mistake going forward, one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have a private channel so I can have Andy check out the video first to make sure everything is technically accurate. Now, I rave about Ultimark products, and I get along with Andy pretty good. He's a real nice guy. But I do also want to make sure if the day comes that Andy releases a piece of crap, I will still say it's a piece of crap. That has not yet happened, and I don't see it happening. He's very passionate about getting things to work just the way he wants before putting it out there. So, again, I want to make sure, let you know, I will keep my integrity and I'll be honest with my opinion on things. But again, right now, I think I'm going to have him review my videos to make sure that I don't say something that's not accurate. I also could very easily think there's something that works a certain way, and then he may show me, no, this functionality also exists here. So a good example of that is the fact that the U360s can be wired without USB, which I did not know. So anyway, that is how I'm going to handle that going forward, is whenever I'm working with a vendor besides just Ultimark, any other vendor. I'm going to give them a chance to see the video first to make sure that it's technically accurate. I will not let them sway my opinion and my review of the product, but I do want to make sure that I'm being technically accurate and giving you the best information. So that's that piece of business there. Another thing I want to make sure you guys were aware of, part of the reason why there's been a delay in doing this video was because there's a couple of other projects I've been working on. Making my photo booth, which did survive a very drunken wedding, and it survived kids at a 5K race for their elementary school. So it did amazing. It held up really well, or middle school, sorry. Held up really well, no problems at all. It will show at some point soon how that's all set up. But part of the delay was there was a lot of things I wanted to show, or things I was working on, or when I start working on the new graphics and the new music, I want to stream it, but I'm not going to prep a whole video for it. So what I want to do is I'm going to use Twitch and Facebook to live stream working on the channel. Now, I will not put that on YouTube. I will only have that for Facebook and Twitch. So if you have not liked my page on Facebook, please do so. Also, make sure to follow on Twitch so that you'll get notified of the live updates. And I will only be responding to comments on Twitch. You'll be able to see it on both, but I'm going to only broadcast and respond to comments on Twitch to try to drive the channel traffic there. Right now, I don't have enough traffic to get a subscriber button or anything like that. So I'm going to try to work on getting that going. So again, check out Facebook and Twitch for Mavericks Arcade. Make sure to like and follow there. As far as this YouTube video goes, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and turn on notifications and subscribe to the channel. That all being said, now on to Daphne and Singe. Whew. So, Daphne is an emulator to support video laser discs. I remember when I was a kid, I saw Escape to Witch Mountain, or Escape from Witch Mountain on Laserdisc. And I remember at the time I was like amazed by the quality. It was slightly better than DVD quality, I believe, but the discs were huge. It was kind of like Betamax of, the DVD before DVDs came out. It was a step in the right direction. It's what the precursor was for CDs and DVDs and all that. But it just never gained full momentum. It was too expensive in some cases. So it just didn't take off as well as it could have. Now, Daphne is the emulator made to handle that. Singe is an add-on to Daphne that allows basically deconstructed files to be run as a script. So it acts like the original Laserdisc did, but all the pieces have been pulled out, and it is the plugin allows that to be run and true type fonts to be used and so forth. So, one thing to note, if you search for just Daphne, it does not include Singe. You need to search for Daphne that includes Singe or has all the plugins separate. Now, some of that stuff's becoming much harder to find. So let me show you what I've been able to find. So let me switch over to the arcade view. And yes, we have that here. So again, this is the view of my arcade. And again, you can see there's the arcade. You can see the screen's the same. So we're going to switch over just to look at the screen a little more close. And I'm going to move slightly over to this side so the screen's not being obstructed that bad. So, I'm going to open up. I have pre-staged some of the files. Now, one thing that's different from last time you guys were on, you saw on here, I now have a folder for Gabby's links. And you can see in this view, I have a secondary monitor. So if you're looking at the monitor of the system, you can see to the right, I've mounted a vertical portrait mode monitor to the edge of my desk. I'm going to get some better light panels for my daughter. My daughter's been using this machine to stream, so you can see I even have a little stream deck for her off to the right side. So she's using the arcade machine to stream. My son is upstairs streaming from his computer. So it's funny to see all three of us streaming. And man, she even signed into her our YouTube into my Google account. Girl's taking over. So in any case, we have my arcade looks a little bit weird because of all the stuff that she's been using it for. So you'll see some desktop icons and everything are there that wouldn't normally be there on my arcade. But anyway, back to this. So on the Emulator Sites, one place I found for Daphne was here. This is the main Daphne website. You can download the emulator, but here it does not seem to have Singe. So if you try to launch this a Singe game with Daphne without the plugin, it will act like you just ran something completely wrong. So be aware of that. Now, I did find this site by searching for Singe. I found this site. It's a French emulation site. And I did find a version 1.14 of Singe. And I was able to download it here. And I did like that this was a zip file and not a RAR file. I always get a little nervous when I see RAR files. I do not like them. I do not trust them. So in any case, I have staged the files. So one way you'll know very immediately that the files, if they include Singe or not, is you will see Daphne and the Daphne loader, but then you will see a DLL for Singe. If it's got this DLL for Singe, then it is ready. So this is the extracted one I have. So I'm going to copy all of this. And I'm going to put it... Now, for all my other emulators, I've been putting my other emulators on the D drive in the emulators folder. However, you can see I tried to put it in here. But I can go ahead and delete that now because it did not work there during my tests. The problem I'm having is that Singe did not seem to like to go between different drives. So, to get around this, what I've done is I've just put in my ROMs folder where all the rest of my ROMs are, make a new folder called Daphne Singe, and in there I will paste Daphne Singe. Now, does this have the Singe folder? Yes, it does, and it has Daphne up here. So I want to make a folder called Singe. Now, so in the Singe we have, let me go back to my staging area, and I'm going to grab Who Shot Johnny Rock. And I'm going to just drag that folder over to here. It did move it. Okay. So in there you can see there's a bunch of files, and there's a CD-ROM folder, and you can see, again, these are various movie files and the pieces of the script. And then in here, the files that we're worried about is if you see this frame text file, and then there's a script. CD-ROM Johnny Singe. So those files will get referenced. You can see there's true type fonts here and some sound effects. Those are the sounds that get added on top of some of the videos. So anyway, we're going to go back into... I saved a command that I had set up working during my tests. However, I need to modify it a little bit. So you can see E:ROMs, Daphne, Singe, Daphne. And then in the next setup, it would be Singe. VLDP is Virtual Laser Disc Player. Now, one thing you'll notice in the documentation, they'll show you all the command line switches, but there is one that they did not document, and that is Fullscreen Window. The reason why this is important, and I also noticed again, it does not like having file paths here. So it likes to be the subfolder of wherever you run it from. So as you remember, we set up a Daphne-Singe folder, and then in that folder there's a folder called Singe, and then the Johnny Rock folder. So I'm modifying this a little bit. I'm taking off, so it has Singe, Johnny Rock. There's the CD-ROM Johnny Singe, which is again the script. And then that frame file was the other one we referenced, which was frame Johnny Rock CD-ROM text. Alright? But this full screen window, the reason why that's important is if you tried to run it with a smaller resolution or in full screen, what will happen is your light guns will jump to all the various edges of the screen. It will not allow you to aim within the screen. It will just go from one corner to the other corner, back to the other corner. It will not be smooth. But if you run it set the resolution to your full screen size resolution of whatever you run it at normally, and then set it as -fullscreen_window. That will let it be in a full screen mode that's windowed, and therefore the light gun is able to track within the space. This will definitely be noticeable if any of you are going from Hyperspin to Launchbox, because in Hyperspin it kind of puts it within another window, so it's able to be full screen. The guns are able to work and everything with the full screen command. But if you were to take that same command and then put it into Launchbox, it will not run properly. In Launchbox, it definitely needs to be set for the X and the Y, so the horizontal and the vertical pixels of full screen, and then -fullscreen_window. So we've got the files moved over here. We're going to first test it, because this is what the entire command will actually be. All right, so it'll actually be this whole thing. Now I'm going to shift or hit Windows key, and I'm going to hit the button to run it. And then I'm going to hit enter and make sure it loads. So you can see the aspect ratio is still correct.
American laser game.
You can see it's loading correctly. And again, horrible acting. Good game though.
I never was very lucky until I met Johnny Rock. And now someone's even taking...
Again, I hit escape. So now the game is loading. The way it did is, again, I mapped to this part. And then in there, I have a folder called Singe. And I have the Johnny Rock game. So now this command right here, again, E, ROMs, Daphne Singe, it launches Daphne. This is saying it is a Singe type game, so it's looking for that DLL file to understand how to handle this game. It's saying it is a type of player called a virtual laser disc player. It's going to run in a full screen windowed mode with 1920 by 1080 resolution. No server send means it's not sending any network communication to their server. And then it's saying here is the frame file that is needed by the game and the script to follow, which is basically telling it which order to play the videos and everything to make it a concise story. So that's how the command runs. Now, how do we get this into Launchbox? So let me launch Launchbox here. What we're going to do is we're going to close that little window. We're going to look at our tools, manage emulators. And you see I put Daphne Singe in here. And I have this weird command here. I wonder... Makes me wonder if I could drop some variables in there. But it really doesn't matter. So I put this in here first as an emulator. And I have it sit in there. Then what I go do is under arcade, I'm going to do add, or I'm going to go to tools, import, and I'm going to say import a Windows, a ROM file. I'm going to hit next, and I'm going to add one file for ROMs, Daphne, Singe, Johnny Rock, and I'm just going to say Johnny Rock. So I'm just going to click a file. It's going to be a platform, it's an arcade game. I'm going to say it's using Daphne, and I'm going to say leave it in their current location. I'm going to go ahead and search for the game. Actually, I'm not going to do that yet, because it's not going to find it underneath that batch file. So this is the way I'm kind of manually entering the game. I'm sure there are better ways to do this. This is just what's working for me. I'm not even going to try to grab any information yet. I'm going to do that here in a minute. Right now, if I was going to do it, I was just going to end up having to replay it anyway. So it says it's ready to import it. So we go ahead and let it import. Didn't have to worry about looking anything up. Now, I look up the name of that config file. So here's Johnny Rock. And now I'm going to edit this one by right-clicking and choose Edit. And I'm going to say, who shot Johnny Rock? Now I can search for the metadata. Yeah. It's downloading a new metadata. Okay. So it's getting that information. Come on. Take its sweet time. Okay, so there's a couple of multiple versions here. Let's go ahead and do this first one. And if auto-populates American Laser Games, it's a single-player game. And we're going to go ahead and hit download images and metadata. So it's checking. It's got stuff there. Game was not found at Emu. Okay, so anyway, we're going to download this. Alright, so we're setting the other one as a box front. Hopefully that'll work. And then, so what we're going to do now, though, is we're going to go to emulation. We're going to uncheck this. We're going to go back to launcher. And now you'll see the reason why I had that file in two pieces before. Let's hit a Windows button here. Back to our notepad. So the first part of the command is just going to be the exe right here. And then the second part is this here. And that will drop right there. So now when I hit OK, it's going to say, hey, you didn't specify an emulator in order to play. Would you like to specify one now? No. So we got Who Shot Johnny Rock here. Now, if I double click this, it should launch without a problem. And now we're going to go ahead and escape. So that was working in Launchbox. So we're going to close this. And now I'm going to launch it in Big Box and make sure that it loads there. Now the benefit to this is because it's in Big Box, well, because I've set it up this way, then it's not loading through. See, the one part of the problem I have with Hyperspin is by using Rocket Launcher and sometimes other overlays, it made it not always consistently behave the same way. And my hope is by having Launchbox just directly launch the game, that I hopefully should have less sorts of weird issues popping up. So there's Who Shot Johnny Rock. So as you can see, that's now working. And that gives us, yeah, that's just an example of doing Who Shot Johnny Rock. But again, some of the better games that I loved is, I loved the Drug Wars game that had the little Fiero at the beginning. And at the time, I remember when I was a kid, I was like, the Fiero is awesome looking. Did not realize it was such a death trap, but even the people that knew it was a death trap and still drove them, so they loved the car, the feel, and how it was, even though it wasn't that fast. It just, you know, the look of it. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. Let me know what some of your favorite gun games are. Again, make sure to give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the notification button. So you'll be notified of when new live videos come up. Again, the reason why I'm doing the Facebook and Twitch is just to make sure that I don't mix. When you come to YouTube, I want you to have the recorded videos to go from. I don't want it to get filled up with live stream content that gets confusing. So that's the reason I'm going to do that elsewhere. But make sure to like and follow on Twitch and Facebook. And again, I will comment on the Twitch side to viewers when I'm streaming live. And I'm probably going to do that in the next couple days, answering emails and working on some of the channel things like new graphics and so forth. The new Blender looks pretty amazing, so I've been having fun with that. So make sure to check that out. I've also going to be trying to come up with a redneck persona for a truck driving game in VR. So you can check me out on that on Maverick's Hideout, again on Facebook and on Twitch. So we'll see you guys soon. Let me know in the comments what some of your favorite gun games were. If you know anybody else that used to play Johnny Rock, man, share this video out. Let them feel nostalgic about it. So anyway, let me know, and we'll see you guys next time. Once I can find my button, there we go. Take it easy. Make sure to check out the links above for some of my other videos, and definitely smash that subscribe button. Also, make sure to turn on notifications so you don't miss out on any episodes. I'm continually trying to grow this channel, so make sure to like, comment, and share on all your favorite social media platforms. To find more content for this channel, check out the following locations. YouTube is the primary location where I publish the final versions of my how-to videos. I use Facebook for communication, notices about upcoming videos, behind-the-scenes pictures and videos, and the occasional live stream. For live streams, I primarily use Twitch, as it generally provides the least latency for the closest to real-time response rate currently available. I will occasionally multicast to Facebook and Twitch at the same time, but Twitch generally seems to have the least delay, so I prefer it for streaming events. And as always, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate your support, and we'll see you next time.